Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Droppin Dimes off-season edition. I told y'all we'd be back, and we're here just 4 days later. My main man and oldest friend, Mark Neighbors, is here.
How
We're
you
going to break
doing?
down the NBA draft. Our hometown team, Mark and I met in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. So I know Mark lived other places, and so did I, but that was basically like kind of where I grew up. And so if I have a hometown, it's Washington. And it's been hard as a basketball fan, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Keeping that, only on them. So because they're just never in the playoffs. And I love the NBA playoffs. So I always pick, other teams, other players that I love to follow in the playoffs. But truly my hometown team is the Washington Wizards. I've got my for the podcast listeners, I've got a John Wall jersey on
Nice.
from the Wizards days.
Cool.
It's
And
a
I have
little
my
tight fitting.
Wizards
You've got your
MJ.
Jordan jersey on. That's from back in the day.
Yeah.
We're wearing our Wizards kind of tealish blue. I definitely like the new colors a lot better.
Yeah.
They're
It's a
more
lot better
darker.
looking now.
Yeah, but I figured since the Wizards had the first pick, I would wear the John Wall jersey because that was the last time they had a first pick. They drafted John Wall. But Mark, for the podcast listeners, has got the old school Bullets hat. I love that.
I don't even know
The
where I
two
found
L's,
this, but
the two
it's
L's
pretty
form
awesome.
hands that are like shooting a basketball. The team. The team
That's
did a
good
name
stuff.
change, though, Mark. Do you want to explain to the listeners why the team did a name change back in
Yeah. So they had had that name for a long time. They'd even had it when they were in Baltimore, the Bullets, but then Washington, D.C.,
little
especially in the.
alliteration in Baltimore. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then, yeah. So only problem was in DC, especially in the late 80s through the 90s, had a bit of a crime problem and a bit of a gun violence problem. I shouldn't be chuckling about that. That's actually not funny. But, it was so they were like, the reputation of the city is already bad. Like, we shouldn't have a team named the Bullets. So I don't know if
Yeah.
did they do some kind of fan competition to pick the name, or did they just pick it? I can't remember. I just seem to remember one
Maybe.
season all of a sudden they were not the Bullets anymore. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
When did they become the Wizards?
I just remember thinking it was so cheesy. The
Yeah.
Wizards. But I think recently, who is it? Zach Lowe. Not that recently, but he was doing a name thing, and he's like, Wizards are the top name. They're Wizards with the ball. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I guess it could work.
I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Now it's
like you
been
said,
so long, I've practically forgotten the Bullets name.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's you got used to it. And then also, because like you said, they've changed the uniform colors, it actually looks a little closer to the classic red, white, and blue, as opposed to this weird kind of bluish teal
I like
thing.
that. Yeah.
So that sort of matters almost more than the name. Is just like the look is a lot better, and it looks kind of like classic DC basketball. Because if the viewers don't know this, the Bullets actually have an NBA championship. They did 1978 with Wes Unseld.
The year I was born.
Exactly. Same with me. So they haven't really come close since then. Well, no, they made the finals the next year, lost to Seattle. And then after that, I don't think they've even made a conference finals since then. I'm pretty sure. It's been a long drought. So they've come close a couple times in the second round with John Wall, and I think with maybe with Arenas one time. Not sure.
Arenas had some good teams. I mean, I don't know what you mean by close, Mark. I don't think they've ever made the conference finals.
No, but I mean, like, they got to game 7 of a second round, at least with one of those teams. That's the closest they've come to a conference finals.
Yeah, John Wall and Beal and Nene. And who's the big white center?
I can't remember.
Gore. He was the backup to Dwight Howard.
Yeah. It was, shoot. I can't remember his name either. I could see him. He's a shaved head guy.
Yeah, that team.
Like a bruiser.
Yeah, he was awesome too. And they went, I think it was game 7. Maybe it was game 6. But Al Horford jumped over.
Yes.
I think Nene's back. Total foul and secure a rebound for the Atlanta Hawks and beat them in the conference semifinals. And
Yeah. And then
that was a good team. Like that team legit was scaring the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers
yeah.
lost like a game late in the season so they could switch their order in the playoffs so they could avoid the Wizards until the conference finals.
Was it Gortat?
So
Is that the guy's name?
Gortat, yes, Gortat,
Yeah.
of course.
That guy was
Yeah, he's
awesome.
famous for setting Gortat screens.
Yeah.
I think actually a Gortat screen is where you shield off the big man so he can't come and make a weak side block as your guard is driving.
Right.
Not to make this a huge history lesson about the Wizards, but that John Wall was a number 1 draft pick, and he just had this incredible speed. And I remember this great conversation with a shooter in the NBA who'd played with Chris Paul, Dudley, I think, Jared Dudley. He played with Chris Paul, played with Steve Nash, and he played with John Wall. And he was asked who's the best passer of them all, and he said, well, John Wall got me the most open shots because John Wall could sprint down the court. He was famously considered the fastest player in the NBA, and he could sprint down the court and swing it to me. And he's like, John Wall got me the most wide open shots of those 3 guys.
That's pretty awesome. And I saw Wall play once in college. I went to the NCAA tournament one year, and Kentucky was playing. And I do remember because people were like, "Oh, you got to look for this guy, John Wall. He's like a speed demon out there, and just and a good passer and stuff." And it was cool to watch. I had never seen a college guy kind of be that polished with just with passing and that kind of speed. So yeah, he was a good number 1 pick, and if he had stayed healthy, I think this would have been a very different franchise. Actually, like he just he had some unfortunate injury issues too. So
Yeah, and I think his lack of shooting ultimately just killed him.
it's true.
And he kind of was the guy who he wasn't as bad as Russell Westbrook, but he a little bit wanted to get his shots. You know, he wanted to make sure he got his 18 points, and he's kind of taken these long range twos to do it because his 3-point shot wasn't quite there. But he had some iconic moments for the Wizards. But now the Wizards have a chance to draft a new number 1. A guy who can make a lot of iconic moments in the future, possibly, lift this team up. And it's very exciting. So I've been doing a deep dive on who they should draft and looking, particularly close at Dybantsa and Darryn Peterson. Cam Boozer had amazing stats in college, but he's below the rim player who, sorry, that's not appropriate to say, but he's kind of like not super athletic, power forward. He's basically comps out to like his dad.
Yeah.
And really good player, but I don't think not franchise altering. And so I really hope that the Wizards don't draft this guy. And he might have like a lower floor than the top guys, but I think
a lower ceiling too.
Lower ceiling too, exactly.
Yeah.
And okay, so focused on AJ and Darryn Peterson. So one of the first things I did was they played each other in college, Utah, BYU, and Kansas. And I got to say, when you watch this game or the highlights, at first you're going to be like, Darryn Peterson is clearly the guy. Like he comes out, he has steals. He has 18 points in the first half. He's stealing the ball. He's driving. He's Dybantsa's covering him, which, good on him. And Darryn Peterson's treating him like he's James Harden, just driving right by him, getting to the rim. I don't have to say traffic code anymore. I just say James Harden.
Right, exactly.
People get it. And then, oh man, he had this amazing like dunk on the 2 people, other people from BYU that I'm sure everyone's seen. And he just looks incredible. He's got a really good balance to him. So it actually kind of reminds me of another Wizard star, Bradley Beal. He gets his feet under him when he shoots, and very good with the ball, athletic, So he looked great, right? And I'm like, oh gosh, Darryn Peterson, he's got to be the pick. And then you keep watching the highlights, and AJ was missing shots and stuff. He starts making shots and stuff, and then you're like, wait, where's Darryn Peterson? Wait a second, what? And he just didn't play. Like, he played 2 minutes, I think, in the second half, and he just sat the whole time. And you've just seen this guy like dominate in the first half. And it was and then I'm like, oh, wait a
Yeah.
second, maybe he's not the guy. Like, he's not even freaking playing. Like, I guess
Yeah.
he had cramps from creatine, or
Yeah.
what?
That's
Have you ever even
a
heard
lot
of
of the,
that? Is that a
exactly.
thing?
I mean, I've certainly never heard of it in a player that young, right? You hear about like cramps or like muscle issues, but it generally tends to be players who are like on the end of their careers, right? Because they're just kind of getting creaky and they've played a lot of high impact sports for a lot of years. It's really weird to see like a freshman, sophomore type kid suffering from that sort of stuff. And not because of like dehydration or something, like because of, yeah, like this, like a creatine thing or just some sort of medical fluke thing. But it's enough to make you be like, wait a minute, is he worth the risk? Because of course, he's had all these doctors say like, no, he's going to be fine. There's no medical issues with that. And anything else like hamstrings or ankles or stuff like that. But of course, like, with these guys, they can always find a doctor who's going to clear them, right? Like that's it's
Sure,
hard
Mark.
to, yeah.
And they can
And so,
also uh, always bullshit,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, like, I don't know what's happening with this guy. Is he like, I showed that I'm better than this guy, I don't need to play anymore? Like,
Yeah,
is there a
and that's
little
the
bit of
other
that type
question.
of crap? Because
Yeah,
I feel like if you're a competitor, you're gonna keep playing, even if you're cramping a bit and hurting, you're gonna keep going out there. I mean, the game got close. The guy who I assumed Darryn Peterson would have been covering, some like white guard on BYU, was destroying worlds. He had like
yeah,
31 points, and BYU almost pulled off the victory at the end. Like,
right.
does Darryn Peterson not care about winning? I mean, like,
Yeah,
I'm also watching this guy's highlights, and he's constantly making this money symbol, like moving his thumbs, like he's counting cash, right?
yeah, exactly.
Is that all this guy's thinking about? Like,
Yeah, it makes you
it
worry
worries me a
too,
bit, Mark. It's like
for
a Ben
sure.
Simmonsy. I don't.
Exactly. That's totally the comp I was thinking. It's like, some kids are just super talented and they get kind of physically talented, right? And they get pushed into sports. But maybe like he didn't want to do this, right? Like, I mean, sure, there's a little part of him that wants to do it because he likes the perks, but like there's a difference between the motors of guys who like are just they live and die for this stuff. And right, I mean, most players don't want to get taken out of games, even when they're in like intense pain or just or even if they're playing terribly, right? It's always like, no, coach, leave me in. I got this. Or like, just let me, I can get my shot back. Like, don't take me out. Right. And so the fact that he's like, no, I'm good. Let me just hang out on the bench. Is like, wait a minute. Like, why are people thinking about drafting you and why were you recruited so heavily if you're not even going to really play? It just seems, I don't know. It's a big risk, especially on a team like the Wizards where, they haven't had a winning kind of culture for a long, long time. And you maybe don't want a guy who has great numbers, but is happy to lose, right? Because he'll be like, I got my 20 points and my 8 assists. I got a few steals. I got some highlight reel for Sports Center, but yeah, you lose by 15 points. If he doesn't care, then like the Wizards are just back where they've always been, which is just struggling to get wins. And that's the whole point of this. The whole point of this league is to win. So you play to win the game, as Herm Edwards would say about a different sport. But, you know, like,
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mark. When things get difficult in the playoffs and stuff, is this guy gonna be, rising to the top? And it's really breaking my brain, Mark, because on the other hand, it's like he's trying to cultivate this like I'm Kobe persona, right? Like, I just study so hard and play so
right.
hard and practice so hard, and all I can think about is the league, and there's all these defenders online. You go on Reddit, and they got the Darryn Peterson guys are all like, oh, that's just because he just doesn't care about college and all he wants to do is get to the league, man. And
Yeah, but that's how it works.
it's actually
Like,
weird these days
yeah.
because these days in college you can get paid. He probably was getting paid,
Yeah,
like
that's exactly
a
it.
large
It's
amount of
like,
money. So it's like it's not just about like where you're gonna get money anymore.
for sure,
Uh,
especially in a program like Kansas. I mean, like, you're going to be on national TV all the time. You know you're going to make the tournament, even if you don't have a squad this season that you think can go all the way. Like, everybody follows Kansas basketball, so like if you're into college hoops, so yeah, it's not like he doesn't have a platform. You're right. Like, it's not like he's not getting paid, and you would think you'd want every team to kind of go after you. You're right. Like, what's better for your ego than like another team with a lower pick being like, you know what, this guy is the guy. We'll trade a bunch of picks, future stuff, maybe some players to get our hands on this guy. That's what we think of him. And that I haven't heard anything like that with this guy. It's all just questions like this, and people saying, yeah, we'll take a chance because he's kind of a physical freak, and he's got, it seems like, a lot of natural talent, and maybe we can kind of mold him into a good team guy. But I don't know. That's a huge risk. That's one where it's definitely, I think the ceiling and floor thing is, it's like the gap is huge because he strikes me as someone who could very easily be a total bust.
yeah, is he gonna be a
Yeah.
Markel Fultz or a Ben Simmons? I mean, these
Right.
guys were number one picks. They didn't even make the tournament
Yeah.
with their college teams. And you're right, if Darryn Peterson's not at Kansas, they probably don't make the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, then we have Derek Harper, who didn't. I think Rutgers didn't make the tournament, and he's freaking incredible. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right?
maybe
Like,
it can't all be on one player, I guess,
yeah,
but
but we could be
it
wrong,
is it
right?
is a
Too.
little
Yeah.
scary. I will say a little bit of me was like starting to buy into the Kobe Bryant like focus thing, just because he isn't a guy who is trying to sell him stuff all the time. Maybe he is a little bit autistic about basketball or something. I mean, in a way, I'd love that, right? I'd love the
Right.
Wizards to get the next Kobe Bryant, right? And
For sure.
we don't want to pass on that just because he had some cramps.
Yeah. No, it's a tough decision. It's not as cut and dry, but I think because AJ is who he is, I think it's a little easier, right? I think if it was a draft where it was this guy and then a whole bunch of kind of Cameron Boozer types, you get a lot more nervous, right? Because you're like, okay, well, is it good to take the safe pick, the solid guy who we know is going to play well, but like you said, he's probably going to max out at about where his father is, who's had a good career, was a solid pro, you know, was on some winning teams, but at the same time, no one would say like, oh, this was a game changing franchise guy, a Hall of Fame kind of guy. Whereas AJ has a lot of that skill and a lot of that talent. So I think it's
Yeah.
it's a it's
So
an easier choice to me. I think you're on the right track.
yeah, AJ's awesome. Just to close out on the Darryn Peterson,
Sure.
I was watching this video by, I want to shout him out, Hoops Tonight, Jason Timothy. Sorry if I got that wrong. And he was breaking it down, the AJ versus Peterson debate. And he
Right.
said Peterson can't create separation. And he's constantly
Oh,
taking these tough shots.
yeah.
And yeah, that's not great.
No,
That's a really
especially in
good
the
point.
pros. Because in the college game, you can get away with that, especially if you have a ton of athletic talent, right? You can take harder shots because even the best college defender is not going to be nothing like an NBA defender. But you try and do that against the defenders that they have, like an Alex Caruso or something, or a Wemby, especially in the first quarter, right? Like those guys, if he's taking off balance, weird contested shots, he's just going to miss them or they're going to get blocked. And
I mean, I would
because he
say
can't
Darryn
create the
Peterson
space.
like seems to be on balance. Like he's a very good basketball player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, of course, of
Another
course. Yeah, yeah.
guy, Kevin O'Connor, compares him to a Ray Allen. So this is an interesting comparison. So Ray Allen, for those who don't know, wasn't just like a 3-point shooter. He
Right.
actually was a very good player
Mm,
who could drive and stuff. He's just such a good shooter that became sort of what he was known for.
Yeah, when he was
especially earlier in
drafted,
his year.
it was mostly about the handles and stuff and being able to
Yeah, he
drive. Like
had
they didn't talk about his
handles.
jump shot as much.
Well, I mean, he was out of UConn, right? He had made some great shots for UConn, but his going to, but yeah, right. His handle, he was in that movie with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
Right.
he's all
Like,
playing one-on-one against him and stuff. But, sorry, that was a silly reference. But I watched him in Seattle, and, he was the team's all-star. I mean, he was the
right.
kind of get it done, and he would battle with Kobe. Those guys had some kind of thing going on versus each other, little like the Wimby and Chet sort of thing.
Mm.
But it wasn't that lopsided. I mean, Ray Allen could hold his own, you know, at least as best he could. Would Ray Allen, let's say he was Ray Allen, this Darryn Peterson guy, is we pretty happy with that as Wizards? Is that awesome?
I mean, I think it's good. I still think you want the guy with the ridiculous length and who could just like absolutely do some crazy things in transition because he's got the speed and the wingspan and everything. I still think that's better for that team.
You're talking about Caleb Wilson?
No, I'm talking about Dybantsa. I think like that nice one though. They both are good transition scorers actually, but Dybantsa I think definitely has the edge. I just think based on the roster they've got now, I think he slots right in as like just a crazy a good wing that they can have. I think you can get the shooters later, or you can get them later in the draft, or you can find kind of guys who can be your 3 and D. Yeah. I mean, there's enough of those in the league for what they need. They don't necessarily need the shooting right now because they're not going to be in games where there's going to be a lot of that going on right now, right? Because they're rebuilding from scratch. And so I think, I still think Dybantsa is the better pick. But, right, if he ends up a Ray Allen, that's a pretty high ceiling, right? That's impressive. But yeah, you just worry, like you said, that he's actually a Markelle Fultz, right? Or a Ben Simmons. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
the Pascal. So let me talk about AJ Dybantsa. I think coming into this whole process, and as soon as the Wizards got the first pick, I'm like, AJ Dybantsa, man, this guy, that's who I want. Why? I watched him in the NCAA tournament, and the guy's just, tall, get into the rim. He's relentless, man. He's got this relentless motor. He wants to get to the hoop. That's guys that I want. Like that's
exactly.
That's like the LeBron's mentality, sort of like I get to the hoop. I'm not comparing him to LeBron. Don't anyone think that. But LeBron tries to get to the hoop, especially like later in his career. And I love that about Dybantsa. I think that it's interesting. Scouts and stuff in my research having trouble making comparisons with Dybantsa to other players. I think he's very tall. He's somewhat wiry and gets to the hoop. And people are saying that one guy, Danny Chow from The Ringer, made a Pascal Siakam comparison, which is interesting. I mean, hopefully he's not making that just because they both have like African roots. But Siakam, when you watch him at his best, he can really get to the rim. He's got some great moves. I really think Dybantsa projects as a better player than that. He's obviously shooting, scoring 25 points per game, highest in the NCAA in college. He's got great moves. They say that they keep talking about how he like his moves, he goes with his own flow. And I don't know what to make of that, if that's bad or good, but it
one thing is
maybe good.
What's great about him is he plays through contact really, really well, which bodes well, right? Because the NBA is going to be the more physical league, especially in the playoffs, as everybody sees every season, right? So you want a guy
and he'll be getting to the line, right?
Exactly, which means he gets free throws.
If you're a star, you're a young star of the league, you should be getting some of those foul calls. Yeah.
And then I think one good thing, too, is if you watched BYU games last fall, so like November, December period versus how he was the end of the season and into postseason type stuff, even between that time, right? That's just 6 months. It was almost like he was a different player. Like he got that good that quickly. So clearly he's learning and he's pushing hard and picking up stuff on the fly, even as a kid, basically. So that's impressive, right? So you get him with the right coach, with the right team, with the right veterans. I feel like he could be one of those guys who comes out, every half season with a new trick, and then in the off season develop something else, a move or a better jump shot or something like that that really, really adds to his game. And those are the best players, right? The ones who pick up what other good players are doing and try to learn from them and adapt them and add them to their arsenal on the court.
Yeah. That's a great point, Mark. Like he's already the top scorer in the league in the NCAA's, and you're saying that he was like kind of still learning, right? I mean, he's just
Yeah, that's
he's just a
exactly it.
freshman.
Exactly. I mean,
So
that's impressive.
yeah, that's impressive. He just, to me, the athleticism, the moves, the mid range shots. Yes, it'd be nice if he was a better 3-point shooter, but maybe that's okay in a way, because it means that he's going to be making those drives and
And
trying
getting to the
get
foul line.
rim.
And you can learn how to get a better jump shot, right? That's something you can work at. Some of the other stuff he does, driving to the hoop, it's really hard to learn that. And the fact that he can do it is really impressive and figured out how to do a lot of that's a lot harder to teach,
Yeah, you
You
can't teach
can
height
sit in
and
the gym.
athleticism.
Exactly. You can't teach 6'9" and crazy wingspan and just a great motor in transition. That's really hard to
It's
teach.
not
And
just
so,
transition for him, though.
yeah,
I mean, he's making
that's true. He's good in the
these
half court too.
drives to the hoop
Yeah.
in the half court. Yeah, I love this guy. I think, you know what? He was getting killed by Darryn Peterson on defense, but at least he's willing to try. At least he's willing to
Yeah.
go out there and do that. So, yeah, that people are knock his defense a little bit, but he's got the athletic skills. They also say he has the athletic skills to be a great defender. So maybe he keeps growing in that context. I think for me, I just worry because I always fall in love with guys like this in the NCAA. Like I remember
Yeah.
Derek Williams from Arizona.
Of course. Right.
Remember him?
It's,
I mean,
yeah.
I thought he was going to be freaking awesome. Number 2 pick from Minnesota, by Minnesota. And we never heard of him again, man.
Exactly.
He lasted
Another guy,
2 years, 3 years.
I remember
Like,
the guy I really
terrible.
liked, and he ended up having an okay career, I guess, but Michael Beasley from K-State. I remember people call him Michael Beastly. He was in college, he was just monstrous, right? Just a
He
tough
was
guy.
awesome.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And then, and he gets drafted by the Heat, right? And it was like, oh,
Yep.
this will be a perfect complement to this team. He'll bring in some youth, and he's just great. And it never turned into anything. And so, that's always the danger of the draft with these guys. It can, does it translate? But
Yeah.
with these guys, like you've been saying, the ceiling for somebody like AJ is, I mean, it's up there. He could be like a real legend if he keeps it up. I was reading some stuff on ESPN. Jeremy Woo was talking about it, and I think he's basically saying a lot of the same stuff as us, right? Like that he was saying too, like if you watched him at the beginning of the season versus the end, he got better, a better passer, better teammate, just kind of better all around ball player. And that says something about him. And, he came in, he was already considered like a potential top pick out of high school. And so to come out of high school and then do what he did at BYU and lead everybody in scoring is like, okay, so he doesn't shy away from the moment, right? He's not letting the pressure get to him, because that's got to be a ton of pressure being like 17 and maybe like, oh yeah, you might be the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick or something like that. That's a lot for a kid to handle. And the fact that he's like, all right, well, I got to show him that I deserve that, nickname out of high school. So, and he did.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't know
been
this was
highly
gonna,
recruited. It's weird that he went to Utah. He's like from Boston, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of basketball in Boston. But well, wait, I'm gonna totally delete that comment because that's not true. Oh no, there's UConn. You got UConn.
Yeah. BC used to
If they
be
could go to UConn or something, but
right.
I just wanted to speak to your Michael Beasley point. I think Dybantsa gets to the rim more. I think he
Yeah,
drives more
I
than
think
a
you're right.
Beasley did.
Yeah.
And that should translate well, especially in the NBA, into lots of foul shots.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. If you
these
can make your free
stars.
throws.
Yeah. It's sad to say, but that's kind of how the stars get a lot of half their points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love Dybantsa. I hope that we draft him. And if we draft the Wizards, draft him. And if the Wizards draft Peterson, I hope he really is that Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
work on your game. I think he might have that work on your game mentality, or at least that's what they seem to be cultivating.
Yeah.
Who knows
Yeah.
what's true
And
or not.
interestingly, he only worked out for the Wizards. He didn't work out for any other team, which was kind of
Yeah. So
interesting.
what's up with that, Mark? I was going to
Yeah.
mention that too. That more? This is just what it seems like. He's just so managed, Mark.
Yeah.
This is like part of what I'm talking about. Or it could mean that he got a promise, right? Hey, we're going to draft you. It could just be that.
Yeah.
I was watching something was Michael Winger talk. He was talking about the top 4 guys. The Wizards have been, close to the vest about who they're drafting, probably so they can maybe get trade potential, etc. Smart to be that way. And Michael Winger was saying he values leadership. This is the one thing he put out there. He values leadership. And I'm like, what leadership? Who does that mean? What does that mean? Read between the lines.
Right.
And
Right.
I think what I came up with is, and especially just watching those highlights, if you're going to fucking sit out the whole second half, Mark, you're not a leader, bro.
Yeah.
That's not what a leader does.
No. I mean, you talk about Kobe
So I
Bryant.
don't think they're going to draft Darryn Peterson. And then I don't know why the hell he's not working out for other teams.
Yeah. Maybe he really doesn't want to go to Utah. I'm not sure.
You're going to slide, brother? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
You could slide.
But it's interesting, if he really had that Kobe Bryant mentality, like, how could we forget Kobe tearing his Achilles, still getting up and shooting the free throws before having to limp off the court and get Achilles surgery, right? Like, versus a guy.
Did he shoot the free throws?
Yeah, he got up and shot the free throws, which is insane. And remember, that was
okay,
I think that was a regular
This guy definitely
season
doesn't
game.
have the Kobe Bryant mentality, man. He's not even playing the second half against
of
the other
nationally
prospect, the biggest
televised
college basketball game of the year. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Good point, Mark. Although Kobe didn't go to college, so we can't make that comp. But anyway, I think we spent enough time on these top 2 picks.
Yeah.
Cam Boozer, might be a good player. What's your thoughts there, Mark? He seems to be at the top of a lot of these big boards. The Ringer just moved him up to number 1. They had Dybantsa there for the longest time, and they just
Bill Simmons has been really pushing that Cam Boozer is kind of the guy moving up. I don't know that I quite see it. I actually think he'd be a better fit like later in the draft, which I know would kill his contract number. So obviously I don't want to mess with his money. But like, I feel like he could slot into a team that already is getting close to being good, right? Like, I mean, I don't know exactly where he would play, but if you put him on Charlotte,
put him on the Charlotte Hornets,
right?
There you go.
I mean, I feel like he'd be perfect there, right? Like, because there's already guys who are starting to really, really get a feel for it, and they're coming close. They're really close, right, to being a major factor, and people love watching them. They're a ton of fun to watch. He would be great on a team like that, but because I guess his draft stock has gone so much, he's going to be stuck on a team that, like, can he be the guy who you depend on, who's going to like make you relevant again as a franchise? And I don't know if he's quite that. Yeah.
This is a really great angle, Mark. I like this. He would be great on the Hornets because they need that kind of power forward, low post score.
Absolutely.
Type. And he would be a great fit there. This is a really great point. But maybe Mark, Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Memphis.
That's true.
Does have this like amazing number 1 guard, at least 2-3 years ago. He was the next big thing, John Morant. Maybe somehow gets back there and
I mean, that would be,
he would slot in really well at the 4 spot there.
Yeah, because I mean that pick and roll would be pretty devastating if you got Ja and him running it. And same thing. I know I keep talking about stuff in transition, but like, could you imagine the two of them running the break? It'd be pretty fun. I think they'd be pretty great at that. And without Triple J on the Grizzlies, you're right. He slides right in. He could start right away, and he's pretty polished, so you wouldn't have to worry about like, oh, he's a project. We're going to have to bring him in slowly. I bet you could start him pretty much right away, and he'd show it. The question is whether Ja is still the Ja if he can bring back the Ja of 2-3 years ago, or if that guy's gone.
He hasn't shown it in the last.
I know, which is sad because I know you really love that guy, and I mean, I do too.
Oh my God, I loved
so
that
much
guy
fun.
so much. Oh
At his peak, man, he was just awesome. That guy was fearless and just clutch and everything. Yeah, it was great. So, yeah, he could work, but it's just if he's the only guy on the team, if he's the only guy in Memphis who's doing anything,
right? Like if he goes to Chicago, you're saying?
Yeah, man. Yes.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Mark. Huh?
Yeah, maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. Maybe he's
I like this point.
better,
I like it. I think it's a good angle, man.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your boy Caleb Wilson?
I'll be honest, I don't quite know why. I mean, I know why, because he's 6'10". They say he's like got like he's really intense, and he like takes it personally every matchup, and he really wants to really wants to win. I think he might be overrated, though. I didn't see it. Maybe I'm being too nice, but like I didn't see it at all this season. I was kind of like, wait, why is this guy the guy you're talking about so much? And certainly first round pick, maybe even a lottery pick, but I'm like, in the top 5? Like, are we sure this is the guy? And especially for if Chicago's going to take him, I mean, how many? That's where good players go to die in Chicago. Exactly. How many careers have been destroyed because they got drafted by the Bulls?
So I just feel like this type of player, the athletic 6'10" guy, it makes me think of like a Stromile Swift.
Yeah.
I just don't think this type of player is actually good. Like, I don't think they actually do anything in the NBA. Like,
they're a good highlight reel, right? Like Stromile Swift was great on the alley. Oops.
They're tall and they can go dunk or whatever.
Yeah.
But now maybe I'm not giving Caleb Wilson enough credit. He does seem to have a little bit of some moves, a little bit of a mid-range game, at least enough to put together a 2-minute highlight.
Yeah. I didn't see the upside that other guys did. That other draft boards and everybody seems to do. And I can't quite figure out why, because and he's not a great shooter, right? He's okay. I mean, he's not terrible, but he's okay. And he sometimes on defense, I think he can get a little bit distracted.
Oh, seriously?
So, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, he's just, he's one of those guys who, like, I think if he's not being challenged by the other player, like if actually, I should rephrase that. Yeah, if it's not personal, exactly. Like, he just doesn't seem to have the desire, right? Like, he should be crushing lesser players, right? And he doesn't necessarily do that. I think he needs to lock in.
Are you serious, Mark? This is what you've seen? Because this is supposed to be his reason, is that he's a great paint protector.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I didn't see
supposed
that.
to be on the defensive end.
Maybe I didn't see enough of the right Carolina games, but I didn't see that. I felt like he was not paying a lot of attention sometimes, especially against the lesser players. Like against good matchups, he's good, but I just worry that he's a guy who's going to be like, oh, I don't have to guard this guy that much. I'm going to go cheat on defense. I'll help somebody else on double team, which is a good instinct, right? You want to help against somebody else. But then sometimes that leaves the other guy open. And if he sinks a shot, it doesn't matter if he's a star or not. If he's open, chances are he's going to make the shot. Well, maybe not.
Like he's almost
but everybody else.
Like he's almost a little too wants to get the highlight block. Is that
That's exactly it.
what you're
He's going for the
describing?
steal. He's going for the blocks. He's going for the traps. At least that's what I saw. Yeah, I shouldn't say that he's too casual on defense. It's not that. It's just he's not. I think it's going to be harder for him to like stick to his guy because he wants to freelance a little bit. And you can get away with that in college because he's such a physical, like he's huge, right? And he's really athletic. But I don't know if in the pros they're just going to make him pay for that every time. Because the pros, you don't need much space to get it. If they don't need much space to get a good look at the hoop, and like if he keeps getting missing his man, the guy sits in the corner and sinks 3 after 3. Like then what good is he? I don't think he can make it up.
Would,
that's what you hope to. Yeah. I mean,
I guess there is a place in the NBA for athletic, like a shot blockers, right? Like help side defenders.
That is true.
There is a place for guys like that. I mean, like Triple J obviously has been paid a ton, but Triple J also has a 3-point shot, right?
That's
this
exactly
guy doesn't have that.
Yeah, he's not a great shooter.
So Triple J is not a great, he's not a great offensive creator, nothing at all, but at least he can space the floor with that weird 3-point shot of his.
Yeah. It's
that
a strange
I don't know how
one.
It goes in. Looks like a shot put or something.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it works. So yeah, and it's gotten him pretty far in the league. Yeah, I don't know that that's going to work, and I mean, part of it too is a fit. Like, I mean, who's left on Chicago now? I don't even. Josh Giddey, that's basically the only guy I really like remember who's like really awesome. I mean, like,
I think you have a point there.
Like
they traded a bunch of people away.
That's exactly it. Like I don't know who's on the team anymore.
Like
who
had
can kind
this
of
great 3-and-D guard to Sumo. They just trade him away so he could be a star.
Exactly for Minnesota.
Timberwolves.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They make a lot of.
Sorry, Bulls fans. I don't know what you guys are doing there. Get another. What's his name? Tim Thomas. The Bulls drafted a guy like this.
Yeah, I feel like Chicago drafts a lot of guys like this that
are, Taylor Thomas, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess maybe if you need a guy like that, then on your team and you already have like a bunch of stars, you already have like a bunch of shooting. I guess you could argue that maybe finding a tall guy that can block people is Tyrus Thomas. That's who I'm talking about. Bulls drafted a 2nd overall. God.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, I think this is how this guy projects. Tyrus Thomas was like athletic. Maybe Caleb Wilson's a little more defender. Tyrus Thomas didn't actually end up being a great defender.
Didn't play much defense,
like a Stromile Swift, attack the rim type guy. So, maybe, I mean, I've heard like people talk about KG with him.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Mark?
That seems a little bit overstated. I mean, I think people have forgotten how good KG was.
All right, let's move on from Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, I know. I think we've ruined his reputation enough. Sorry, man.
Caleb. Okay,
he'll still probably
let's move on to, but he's probably going to be the top 4 pick. That's what everyone's telling us, at least. Let's talk about the number 5 pick. Who's going to be the number 5 pick? Who are the Clippers going to take, or who the Clippers going to trade? Who's going to trade up to get that number 5 pick? I think that's
so this is the big. This is
second
the big
biggest question. Besides who's the top pick of the draft is who's that number 5 slot after those consensus top 4. And so let's have some takes, Mark. Who you got?
All right, I got to go with the general consensus, and I mean this like every mock draft seems to have this guy at number 5 out of Illinois, Keaton Wagler. Great, like consistent shooter. He's got good size. He put on some muscle. I think some people said it was 20 pounds. Obviously, I have no idea what that looks like, so I couldn't tell you how much weight it was. But he definitely put on some poundage, some muscle. He's got a great kind of playmaking skill set. Like he creates shots for other guys. That's why Illinois was a pretty great offensive force this last season. And but because he has a jump shot that's pretty consistent, he can play both guard spots. He doesn't need to be on the ball all the time, which I think could match up well with Garland in the backcourt, both because he can play off the ball, like I said, but also because Garland has had some injury issues. And this way, you've got another guy who can handle the ball, who's a good playmaker, and it takes a little pressure off Garland. So maybe he doesn't wear down as much. Maybe he's not as big of an injury risk, which could be great for the clip show. There are some concerns, mainly like he doesn't have a ton of length. So on defense, you kind of worry about that. If he doesn't have the wingspan, maybe rangier players can get by him. And if
he's
somebody
tall,
gets
though,
by him,
for his position.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
he's
is tall.
6'5" already.
Yeah. But it's weird that his length is not nearly as big as you would think, long as you would think it was for a guy who's 6'6", 6'5"-ish. So that's
6'6"
something
wingspan,
that
they're saying.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that.
Right.
But at the
Acuff
same
has a
time,
6'7" wingspan, and he's only
Right.
6'2". Yeah, interesting.
Exactly. Right. So that's a bit of a challenge, but I think the pluses on it make a big difference. One thing we should also note, though, is that a lot of people are talking about that pick getting moved, like that other people are going to offer stuff to the Clippers to try and move up, whether it's to get this guy or to get somebody else. That's always backroom stuff. You're never totally sure what that would be, but it wouldn't surprise me
I
if
assume
another
it's
team.
for Acuff. I assume people would
that's
move
the
up
thing
to get
is-
Darius Acuff.
I think a lot of
Because
people want
Acuff's
that
got
guy.
this star personality.
That's exactly it. I agree
I think
totally.
GMs are seeing that that's a guy they could sell to their fans, hitting
Right.
44% of his shots.
Yeah, and because of the definitely the top three kind of being figured out, so those teams are, unless you blew them away with some crazy offer, are not going to move off of that pick. Bulls are probably not moving off of number 4. The 5 pick is the first one where maybe the team is more willing to take a look, especially because if they decide to keep Kawhi, that's a team that wants to win right away. Maybe you don't want to wait for bringing up a young guy. You want a veteran who can kind of slot right in and get the Clippers moving again. So that's why a lot of people are saying that could be the pick that moves. And yeah, I agree with you though. Acuff. I mean, maybe would I consider taking him over Wagler? He's a little bit like he's not great on the defensive end yet, but I always feel like you could teach that. So I'm not sure. Now I'm actually having trouble deciding. I'll go with Wagler now.
Let me speak a bit.
But you can talk about Acuff.
Let me speak a bit about Keaton Wagler.
Okay,
I love this guy. He was awesome in the tourney. Great passer. Kevin O'Connor calls him a dime dropper.
Yeah.
On his little attributes, which are the Droppin Dimes podcast. We love that. So
we want an interview, man.
Yeah, man. So I like Keaton Wagler. Really like what he showed. I think it's kind of funny because watching that team, Illinois, his college team, they had Andrei Stojakovic,
right,
who came from Cal. I watched Stojakovic in person.
Oh, that's great.
Son of
I didn't realize
the great Peja Stojakovic.
Right.
And Andrei Stojakovic is awesome, and he was awesome for Illinois too.
Yeah.
I think he's it's kind of weird because he didn't start, but he was a little Manu Ginobili-ish, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I thought he was actually their best player if you really watch them. But Wagler definitely was getting it done, distributing to these guys, getting downhill, really high basketball IQ, can hit the 3, good positional size. So I like Keaton Wagler. Does he make sense with the Clippers? Because you said, right, they have a lot of veterans. Maybe they're trying to go for it now. They already have Garland and Mathurin. They've got a bunch of good guards.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I wonder if the Clippers might be a Caleb Wilson spot. Huh?
Yeah,
get a guy who can play some defense, right?
Yeah.
They have these good guards already.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And actually him, if he was on a team with Kawhi, that would take care of a lot of he could freelance a little more on defense because you've got one of the best defenders in the league on the wings too. So that would help. It would, and he could also obviously learn from Kawhi, which would be great. Yeah, that actually Huh. That's an interesting thing. Because, yeah,
Yeah,
we,
I'm
we,
not
we
sure about the
obviously,
fit with Kawhi. Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, Kawhi is getting up there in years, and I think you need to be thinking a
and
few
that's
years
exactly
down
it,
the
right?
line.
If he can kind of sort of
Garland is still
bring him
young,
along,
and
yeah. That's an interesting point, though.
Wagler
I would not have
Wagler
thought of
I
that.
like.
Yeah, I like him a lot
So,
too.
but let me give my well. I think that I want to say Mikel Brown Jr. So Mikel Brown Jr. Man, his highlights look good. He can
Yeah.
shoot from range. He can shoot from really far away. I don't think his overall 3-point percentage was that great, but it might be just because he's taking such long shots. He has quick release. Guy
He
can
gets to the
dunk.
rack. He gets to
Yeah,
the rim a
gets the
lot.
rack. He can dunk. And then the huge red flag is he has back issues, bro.
I
He's
know.
19 years old with back issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what me and you can talk about having back issues
Exactly.
on the
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
basketball court, man. Like a 19-year-old guard with back issues. I don't know what that is, man. That
Yeah. Yeah.
scares
That's what
me.
you worry
I
about.
don't like that. Again, that's a Ben Simmons.
I know. Exactly. Right.
Not to mention my least favorite player ever, more than once. But
Yeah.
he looked good. Of all the guys I've seen, he looks good. I think he would slot in, but with a Garland, right, or
Yeah.
their other
That's actually a
guard.
pretty
He can be a
perfect.
a wing player and shoot and
Yeah. And
drive.
the compare, a lot of people are comparing him to Dame, which is that's a pretty good
He has
comparison.
this long
If,
range shot, and so when you
yeah.
see that, but he is taller than Dame.
Yeah.
He's a lot bigger, so I don't think he'll have quite as much issues on defense.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Dame. I don't think he has that motor or whatever, but
Yeah. A lot of people are saying
he does look good.
yeah, a lot of people say he's the best shooter in the draft, basically. So, I mean,
Looking at
that's not
his
a small thing.
highlights, his long. I mean, the way the quick release, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's a great shooter.
I think that's a good point, Mark. I would strongly consider drafting him if I'm the
Yeah. That's actually
Clippers.
a
I
pretty,
think he
yeah,
fits in well.
that's a good fit for sure.
KOC's got him at number 5, and he had a 45-point game. So it's the back issues. Can you get some kind of like, what's the deal with this? Can you get some doctor's reports on this? I would obviously
Yeah.
be worried about that. That's a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
red
You'd
flag.
want to definitely do a lot of
Yeah,
your own kind of medical checks and stuff just to make sure that because it could be just a freak thing that happened this year and he got over it and he'll be fine next season. But yeah, like back problems, if you're having them at that age, like that's backs and knees, right? That's the stuff that makes careers end quite quickly.
yeah. Good point, Mark. All right.
Yeah.
So what about Brooklyn? Who do you think they should take at number 6?
Brooklyn, I would go with, I was going to, if Michael Brown Jr. was still on, I would have had loved to have him on Brooklyn. Actually, it'd just be kind of fun. A lot of people are also saying that they'll pick Acuff Jr. though, who you've also talked about. Who, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with picking him. I think he's pretty fantastic. Brooklyn is in the position where they kind of have so many needs. They just need to take sort of the best player on the board. So I would pick Brown over him if he was available, but I think if he's not, Darius Acuff's a pretty good fit.
Okay, so I'm going to go another direction here. I'm going to say that Acuff is the man. I think
Yeah,
Brooklyn need some excitement, and I
yeah,
think Acuff's going to bring that, right? I think he brings like an Allen Iverson type profile. Really skilled with the ball, great at throwing lobs, great shooter, 44% from 3. It's incredible.
yeah. And he's
But
got the
he's
wingspan, like you
also
said earlier.
he's got the wingspan, but he's also just, to me, too short. I don't think he's going to work out. He probably isn't going to work out. I think the league is going away from these short guards. I say this, of course, as Jalen Brunson,
Yeah,
six
but I
foot
mean,
one, wins the NBA championship. But Jalen Brunson's
he's one
built,
in a
right?
million.
He's strong.
Exactly.
He's not. He doesn't play like these guys. These
Yeah,
guys are little, slight, wire. I'm saying these guys. I got Acuff in there. I could compare him to like a Trey Burke out of
yeah,
Michigan. Burke was even a lot shorter, but Burke could really shoot. He could get to the rack, all the stuff that worked great in college, got Michigan to the championship game. Acuff didn't have anywhere near that kind of success in the tourney. And I would say, I think now is a good time to bring him up. There's a guy who's watching LeBaron Philon who
Out of Alabama?
he profiles very similar to Darius Acuff, same sort of size. I think he might be an inch taller.
He's 6'4", so he's a couple inches taller.
He might be a couple inches taller, and I really liked him. He had, he has some great moves, throws lobs.
He does.
Yeah, what's
one thing about him is he's not as good of a passer as a couple of those other guards. He still needs to work a bit on that.
Really? 5 assists?
Yeah.
I guess I only saw some highlights package. So
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad passer.
It looked to me like he was a better passer than Acuff, to be honest. On
I think Acuff's
the lobs he's throwing. Okay,
based on what I've seen and what I've read, Acuff is the better passer. That's the challenge. But at the same time, that could be one of the guys that we're overlooking because he's a bit smaller than some of the other big guys. But he's 6'4". He's not tiny, so
he's bigger than Acuff.
He's bigger than Acuff. He's bigger than Brown.
22 points
Junior.
a game, 40% shooter from 3. But again, he's also still a small wiry guard.
Yeah,
and these guys don't seem to be making it in the league, but they will get drafted. And I mean, it's so tough. It's tough to say this, right? Like these guys are just so skilled. Like you look at it, like these are the guys me and you, I'm sure, would dream of having like a half of their skills.
I know.
You know,
of course.
And there, it's like, okay, this might be a highlight level take, but it's like you look at these guys and they just have 10,000 times more skill than a guy like Shaq.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like Shaq was blessed with gigantic size.
Yeah.
But like these guys,
you can't dribble like that.
Exactly.
Oh my God, these guys are so good, but even they might not make it in this league, man. And that's just the kind of tough reality as things are going to this taller.
And in fact, a guy like that, he's definitely someone where if he went to an established team like later in the draft, where you could bring him along a little bit slower. Like you wouldn't need him to start right away. He wouldn't have so much pressure on him to be the guy, like a Miami, something like that, right? Like I think the Heat, there's a couple mock drafts that have the Heat taking him. So that's sort of that was kind of the first one I was thinking.
Yeah.
But there's a few other teams. There's a few other teams.
Probably hard disagree on that, Mark. I think.
Really? Okay.
Well, because then they just become like, a bench guy.
A bench guy. Yeah. Okay.
And so I think the best chance for these guys is
a team where they can start right away.
Yeah, what Trey got, in Atlanta. Okay. Just give this guy the keys, and that's their best chance for stardom and their best chance to make a huge impact on the league. You go to an established team like that, they ain't letting you. They ain't letting you, grow and make all these shots
and make all these mistakes
that are probably low efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
These guys like an Acuff or a LeBaron Philon, they'd be great to find the nets for them, I think.
Yeah, that's a pretty good fit.
Who gives a crap? And they need a star.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now that the other
could
team
maybe provide that.
Yeah,
he's definitely got. I mean, you want to talk about Dame? He's got that. He's got that shooting skill, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Similar size. Dame's a little more big body though. All right, let's round out some other picks. Who you
Number
want to talk
7 with the Kings. I mean, I think we know who they're going to pick because it's a very Kings pick. And I'm going to apologize.
Wait. Let me see if I can think of it. Wait. Okay, we know who they're going to pick. Boy, man. Who are you talking about? Okay. Nate Ament?
No, I was going to say the legendary Kingston Flemings out of Houston,
Lord.
Right?
Legendary, huh, Mark?
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't that seem like a Kings pick? Like a guy who he seems to have like a ton of guys in his corner who talk about how great he is. And yet whenever I actually talk to people, I don't know anyone who actually thinks he's that good. So I'm not sure Like, I just think he's
I don't think he's that good either, man. I
exactly
just
right.
watched some
Yeah.
highlights today, and the guy can't dunk. Like
Yeah.
he had a drive,
Right.
he stole the ball or something. He had a wide open, and he kind of makes a little layup, and I'm like, "What is? Are you an NBA level player? What is going on here?" He
Exactly.
can't dunk. He doesn't drive to the rim. I watched the highlight package. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
highlight package. There wasn't a drive to the rim. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's just like a lot
Exactly.
of pull-ups. He was super underwhelming. I can only imagine that he's being talked about because he must be a great defender. Houston pumps out those
Yeah,
guys
they
who are
do
good
play good
defenders.
defense.
The aforementioned, yeah, like you said, the Kings drafted off night, right?
Yeah.
From Houston, D.
Yeah,
Mitchell.
I feel
So
like this is very much a Kings pick, like a guy who's has, like I said, yeah, there's a bunch of people who are like, no, this is the guy. And he'll turn out like so many other Sacramento Kings picks, and we'll never hear from him again.
boy,
Yeah,
well,
I feel
I
bad, but
hope they don't do that.
yeah, I worry that that's who they're going to pick. I mean, if I was
I mean, I'd
picking,
rather have Phylon almost.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, at least Phylon
Or
has some skills.
yeah,
You like, yeah.
or maybe I don't know, maybe the guy from Arizona, Burries. Well, no, I don't
Brayden
know that he.
Burries.
Problem is, every time I think of anyone going to the Kings, I just know they're going to get ruined. So that's already biasing me too much. So like,
Yeah, Brayden Burries. Brayden Burries projects as a guy you'd love to have if you're on a have a really good team and you just need
yeah,
that that 3-and-D guy, right? That
exactly.
shooter.
Yeah. But the Kings
He
have
kind of
so
has.
many needs.
Yeah, someone projected him out as a Eric Gordon. That might have been KOC.
Yeah,
I mean, Eric Gordon, great player.
yeah,
But
good pro.
I'm watching highlights of this guy. He kind of has like a slow release. He's a little bit slow in how he's handling things. I think at least he has sort of a big body and can get to the rim. Yeah, Eric Gordon, Quentin Grimes. He's kind of just like a secondary guard. I don't
Yeah,
see big star potential for him.
right, exactly. And the Kings have so
But
many
I think
needs.
he'll
I
be a
just,
useful player. He'll play
yeah,
in the league. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's okay.
yeah.
Um,
No, it's true. I mean, I don't.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
he's
think
not going to be a
LeBaron
disaster.
Phylon, I think ultimately is probably just like a backup guard, energy guy. So maybe that would be silly to draft him, but at least he could potentially like lead the team and
Yeah,
be that maybe number one guy.
for sure. Yeah, and I think we
Um,
both. The verdict is that we both think Kingston Flemings is not that person.
no, God no.
Yeah, I think that he has bust like kind of written all over him. Maybe he'll.
Well,
Yeah,
no. I mean, there's a chance that he plays, and I'm not sure what his shooting level is. But
he's
if
not
he
a.
can shoot, he's not
He's an
okay.
okay shooter, not a great. He
No,
has a
no chance
weird.
then. All right.
He's kind of got a Markel Fultz like weird shooting motion.
Oh God. Okay,
Yeah,
let's go.
exactly.
That's a
So
burning
I
bush over
just
there.
feel like
I
this
think
is yeah.
probably more of a Kings pick is one of these big men,
Oh, that's true. They do love
like
picking
a
random
Morris
centers.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's his name?
maybe a Yaxel Lindeborg.
Exactly. Yeah. There we go. Just some giant lurch type dude, just lumbering around.
Okay, that's not Yaxel Lindeborg. He can't
I
like.
know.
He's got skills,
He does. Yeah.
but he's like kind of maybe could be undersized in the NBA. That kind of tweener position. I mean, I like Yaxel. I think he'd be great on the Hornets. I think for
Yeah. Actually, that's
reasons,
a perfect team for
and he
him.
kind of projects out around that range, I believe.
Yeah. Because
And
there's a
we need
couple. Yeah.
we need a power forward here at Charlotte that
Yeah.
can
Because there's a
that has some
couple.
moves down there.
A
Yaxel
couple
could
mock drafts
provide
I've
that.
seen that have him going to Miami. I think that would be lousy with Bam still there because I just don't know if there's enough room there. It just
Miami.
yeah, I think that's too crowded. And I guess I mean OKC's got picks there. I feel like they always manage to draft everybody who turns out awesome for them. So it could work for them too.
Wait. What's OKC? Where's OKC?
I think they are they 12 and somewhere else. 12 and 17.
Oh, they're at 12. Okay, yeah, they do
Yeah.
have. Yeah, they're projected on ESPN. They could use a guy like that at
Yeah.
OKC.
I think he'd actually be,
Will he see the floor?
yeah, that's the thing.
I
I don't
don't
know
know,
that he'd
but they
get,
don't they kind of I guess I'm sorry, Chet. Chet is their power forward.
here we go
Yes.
again.
Man, I'm sorry.
That's what happens when you
Well,
take like 3 shots over the last 3 games of a series. You're
it
gonna,
just seemed though, Mark, I mean, we were watching that Spurs series, and it just seemed like they either had Chet on or Hardenstein, and not
yeah.
both. Now, I'm pretty sure the numbers are gonna prove me wrong, but it kind of seemed that way. And then they had 4 guys who were all 6'4" or under, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, like, yeah, they could use a guy, a guy who's six
Yeah. No,
nine
it's
and
true.
can kind of play and hit, and I mean, Yaxel Lendeborg's got some strength on,
Yeah, he
right, and
does.
knock people around down there. So definitely won't fall over with the
Yeah.
little light blow like a Chet Holmgren.
But yeah, but
So
thinking the
yeah,
Kings may pick a big man, that's a very Kings move too. So I could see them doing that.
yeah. I mean, they got to build around their star two guard, right? Or and Russell Westbrook got to build around that guy,
Oh,
right?
that's right.
Star.
Yeah. I keep forgetting they still got the ultimate motor.
We are going a long time on our draft picks. We got this going, guys. You guys
Yeah,
are
I
getting
know.
some real times
This is,
dropped here.
this is good stuff.
Who you want to talk about next, Mark?
Let's,
Who's after
okay,
the
we
Kings? We
talked a
got the
little bit about
Hawks.
the Hawks. Yeah. So some draft boards have him,
They got Kingston Flemings. ESPN's
Kingston
got Kingston
Flemings going
Flemings
to
going.
him.
Yeah. So does.
And then actually, it's interesting. Bleacher Report, they always incorporate trades into their mock drafts, and so they actually have that pick going to the Bucks, and the Bucks picking Michael Brown Jr.
Now
But
that would be so great.
it would
Oh,
be
they could get
awesome.
Michael Brown. He would be a great guy to pair with Giannis, man.
Well, this would be
I mean,
they would
not
be
that Giannis is
trading.
going to stay there, but
No, that's the thing. They would trade
you're
Giannis and
saying
get the pick.
trade Giannis for him. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but the thing is this is
Yeah,
actually it's an interesting
that would be a bit
three.
of a downgrade.
It'd be it's an interesting 3-team
Slight
trade they've
downgrade.
got proposed
Okay.
because
Yeah.
they
What
would
is it?
have the Hawks getting Jalen Brown and then Miles Turner and Green, and then they get to draft, and then the Bucks would receive like Kuminga and the number 8 pick and the 27 pick and then some future picks. So it'd be interesting. Yeah, it's I don't know that.
I mean, the Bucks do have the 10th pick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I doubt Mikel Brown falls
I
that
don't think
far.
this happens. Yeah, I think this is, exactly. I'm pretty sure Brown gets picked up before then. Maybe, that's how the Bucks move
Okay,
in,
so
is
I
they
think
take
this
the
is a good
5
time
pick.
to ask. This is a good time maybe to ask well, sorry. Let me talk about this trade. So I think that's a silly trade. I don't understand why the Bucks wouldn't take Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's a Finals MVP.
Yeah,
He just
I
led a
agree too.
team as the only star to the second place in the conference. Like,
Yeah,
just take Jalen Brown. That'd be great. A guy, superstar. Your superstar is going to leave
yeah,
anyway. Let's get this guy who's almost there. Sure, he's a bit overpaid, but
yeah.
I
And
think
his
he's shown that
contract.
he can be that lead guy, and
Yeah,
maybe a new environment would be awesome. But it's not like he hasn't shown out for the
yeah.
Celtics.
I find it
But
a little
yeah,
weird too
I
that
think
like
getting a
people are.
number 5, a Darius Acuff or something
Yeah,
instead of Jalen Brown, hell no. What? I
yeah,
don't get that. I guess maybe just because you really want to start over, you want everyone to be young. But
yeah,
no, man, that's terrible. I don't know, man. That's
yeah.
terrible
I
for
agree.
fans. Maybe if it's a top 3 pick, sure. But
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Giannis, come on, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna
Number
get rid of
7 or 8.
if you're going to get rid of the guy who got you your first title in 50 years, it better be for somebody who's already a star. I just think to take a chance on someone who may not be a star.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask this question now. So, the Wizards famously drafted John Wall on first. And people would say, though, that from that draft, that John Wall wasn't the best player drafted.
Right.
They would say it was Paul George. And reluctantly, I was a John Wall defender, so I would have said no, no, no for many years. But, it's been a long time, and Paul George, just a great shooter, played in Team USA, and I probably have to give him the prize. I'm wondering, Mark, for this draft, if there's a player possibly in these, later top 10 that could profile to be better than, those top picks we talked about, the Dybantsas and the Darryn Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've already talked a lot about him, but just one more time with Michael Brown Jr., I think that could
Yeah.
possibly be the guy. LeBaron too, like I said, like maybe he ends up being just a backup, but he maybe he catches fire or he gets the right situation and it turns out he's actually the gem. A few of those big men potentially. I know there's one there's like a Nigerian center. What's it? Ugano Oyenso. I mean, granted, that would be a much later pick. I don't think that's even in the first round necessarily, but like he's apparently like just a defensive monster, great rim protector. He could turn out to be like a hidden gem. Like all of a sudden, nobody's paying attention to him. And then, like year 3 or 4, you bring him in and he's just like a ball stopper in the best way possible. Like nothing gets by him, something like that. And that would be like totally out of left field. That's obviously a way, way deep pick. But a lot of the guys we're already talking about, there are some people who really do like Morez Johnson out of Michigan that because he's got the 7'4" wingspan, he can guard all 5 positions, and he doesn't have much of an offensive game yet. So that's where his draft stock has gotten is not as high. But maybe same thing, maybe he gets in the right situation and develops a jump shot or a decent post game to go along with the fact that he is, according to Yahoo Sports, a physical wrecking ball because of the wingspan and because he can switch on any position because he's quick enough to guard the smaller guys, but also a bruiser. So maybe that's ends up being somebody who turns out to be, like a bigger Kawhi Leonard, just a defensive guy who then over the years developed a really pretty awesome offensive game too.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't see that with Morez Johnson.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see it, but this is what a lot of people are saying.
So high on these draft boards.
Fair enough. But
I
yeah,
think that's a little bit of shine just from Michigan winning.
Yeah, that can make the
something.
difference too. Yeah.
I think he definitely just is a kind of a no skill big.
Yeah.
I mean, they're projecting him out as like Isaiah Stewart as a comparison.
Yeah. Have you looked into this? Is not someone who
90s.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. If he was 90s,
but I think this is just to
I got one more question for you. This is actually legit because I didn't watch a ton of Texas Tech games this year. So, but Christian Anderson Jr., have you seen much of him play at all?
No.
So some people are saying he's like kind of pound for pound one of the best shooters in the draft because he can shoot from super long range and he's pretty good. He's a 6'2" point guard. So, and they say he's a pretty good playmaker, good manager of kind of the pick and roll. But I haven't seen enough of.
Where's he play?
Texas Tech. I haven't seen enough of him to know if he's kind of
this guy.
A steal. So okay, all right. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had actually seen anything
just to
on him, but
answer my own question, I think like the sort of later guys who might turn out being the best. I think as you said, and as we've been talking about, Mikel Brown Jr., he kind of pops the most. Just a lot of skills and can shoot. Great quick release. And maybe Acuff, maybe Acuff turns into something like Allen Iverson.
I think so. Those guys got a lot of potential.
So there's a chance for him. So you already highlighted some hidden gems, Mark. Is there anybody else you wanted to shout out that we haven't talked about?
I just think it's interesting. Some years there's a lot of chatter about certain international players. Those are really, really hard to evaluate, right? Because we don't live in Europe or in Asia where some of these kids are playing, whether it's in Australia.
Right. We don't really know what the competition level is.
So exactly. It's just really hard to tell. Because sometimes it's just always fun to watch because sometimes they turn into Dirk or Luca or Giannis or in the once in a million chance it turns into a Wemby. But then a lot of them are, Frank Ntilikina. I can never pronounce that guy's name. Or,
Frankie
Darko
Smokes.
Milicic,
Oh Lord.
Yi Jianlian out of China, the chairman Yi. He didn't really do much either.
Okay, well that's a long time ago, Mark. You're talking about like, when America, when the shore, the boats first came on the shore.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
And they signed in at the Statue of Liberty. I think things are a little progressed beyond that, Mark, but
I know.
this
I was picking
year's draft is interesting that I haven't heard any of these guys in the top 20.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Like I said,
A little part of that is that there's no Americans going overseas anymore, like they used to, because they're getting paid in college now.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But
what have you heard about though?
There's, like I mentioned earlier, there's this center out of Nigeria, but he played in college, so it's not quite the same. But then there's this Mexican center who's been playing in Australia, Karim Lopez, or center power forward.
New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing.
I watched a couple of highlights of him.
Wow, okay.
He looks like the guy the Hornets drafted 2 years back, and basically that's terrible.
Yeah. It is interesting though. Yeah, I have not heard any real buzz on international players this year. So
yeah,
if they get picked, it's going to be a big surprise, I think, for a lot of people, because it's interesting. Right, like Luca actually did have a good amount of hype. Obviously, Wemby had an insane amount of hype.
Luca was MVP of the league and won the league, the Euro League at age 18. I mean, people,
Yeah, and he's playing for Real Madrid, which obviously is a super name. Yeah, it's a big name in sports. Obviously, more for soccer, of course, but their hoops team, they take it pretty seriously too. And so that's different.
Did you look at Nate Ament at all?
I did, yeah, a little bit. Let me grab my notes on that. Out of Tennessee, so he's got
6'10".
Yeah, that's the thing.
Wingspan.
Is the size is
Brandon
pretty
Ingram-y type,
is pretty great. Yeah, the challenge is like he's not a great shooter. I think he shot 43% on his 2-pointers, which that's trouble right there. I don't know if he's gonna have the opportunity to really improve, especially if he's gonna get picked early enough in the draft and then it gets thrown right out there.
Maybe he should have stayed in college.
Yeah, and like developed a shot. But yeah, I mean, he is a big dude, and you can't teach 6'10". So like he could turn out to be.
It just sounds like he struggled during the tournament. He was terrible at the beginning of the season,
and he's not. He's not fast.
These guys, I've seen these guys just fail hard.
Yeah. I mean, I just think.
I just think a big red X over him on my draft board if I was.
I would not. I would not want to pick him. So that means maybe he's the one that Sacramento picks, because that would be another ideal Kings pick.
No, man. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. That's Mark's corner bagging out the Kings. Okay, that's
I know. Sorry about that, Sacramento.
Well, I think that I wanted to also just shout out Aday Mara from Michigan. I don't think he was on many people's radar. He is tall. He's reasonably athletic. I don't know. They keep putting out these Roy Hibbert comparisons. He's more athletic than that.
He seems better than Roy Hibbert. Yeah, I think for sure.
I don't know if he's better than Roy Hibbert, but I think Roy Hibbert was actually a really great player. But I think he's a little more athletic, at least. He seemed to be like, man, he was swatting everything in the tourney. I'd love to have him on the Hornets.
Yeah.
He's huge, tall, just a tall guy who can do that. He's probably not, you worry about these tall guys, and then when you get Roy Hibbert comparisons, it's like he was played out of the league because he can't handle switches and stuff. If he can be more athletic than that, although the Hornets already have a tall backup center. like that. He's playing pretty well, but 7'3", that's real tall. Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
might want
especially
to
the
get
league.
him, if you're one of those Western Conference teams that has
Yeah,
to like compete with Wemby all the time, you
exactly.
might want to get him. If you're the Dallas Mavericks, the Mavericks already have a couple great centers, but those there's some teams I think that maybe he could help out with a Wemby.
Yeah, I mean, if Dallas needed the cap relief, because I mean, Gafford is great, but or sorry, Lively is great, but I think he's coming up on a point where you're going to have to pay him, and he's kind of an injury problem. So maybe you reset the clock by getting a guy like this, but not totally sure. There's several options for him. You're right,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I don't
because
think
he is such a
Aday
big dude.
is. Yeah, he's nowhere near as good as Lively. Lively,
No, he
Lively's an
isn't. No,
amazing dunker
he's
and
great. Yeah, he's great. It's
and
just
like
it's
just
same thing. He
finisher
just has
around the
some
rim.
injury.
Apparently, he
He
could
just has some
shoot
injury
too.
problems. Yeah, yeah. He's a great long term
Yeah.
solution for them. But if they're worried about cap stuff or something, then you could see that decision being made. But we should never guess what Dallas is going to do because
Well,
obviously
they have a new GM now, so maybe they
they
have
do.
someone
They
who's
do. Maybe some more stability there.
more based in reality.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Let me take a look and see who some of these mock drafts have. Oh, yeah. CBS Sports has them taking Brayden Burries to play alongside
Okay.
Kyrie and Flag. So that could be
Yeah, we talked
interesting.
about him.
Yeah, but we already talked about him. So
He could be a good 3-and-D guy.
yeah.
Okay, Mark. Well, any last thoughts?
No, I think I'm pretty excited. This is going to be a cool draft. Like I said, the Wizards may get to vault back into something fun for me to bandwagon on and be like, oh no, I've always been a Wizards fan, which is not true because no one has ever been a full-time Wizards fan because there's never any
It's
games to watch.
impossible, guys.
Yeah,
They haven't
it's
won
never
50
been done.
games since before we were born, man.
Exactly. So yeah, but it would be cool if they were good again, actually, and that could be a fun team if Trae Young stays, right? Like to have those guys,
It
that could
could
be
be, man.
they'd be a fun team to watch. So that could be cool. So yeah, I'm
What's
pretty
the buzz
excited.
on AD? Is he gonna stay?
I think the buzz
There's
is
teammates that are liking him leaving tweets and stuff. So it
yeah,
doesn't seem
exactly.
good.
Yeah, it's that the one thing is though is if you're the GM, you probably want him to at least play a little bit so he ups his trade value maybe a little bit more. And so maybe you can find some desperate team that is willing to give up some assets or some cap relief or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just can't imagine he has any trade value.
that's the thing is that would just be such
What did
a
the
bad
Wizards
decision.
got draft picks from Dallas, right? For that trade.
Yeah, yeah. As usual, Dallas just
Good old
trying to
Nico,
make the
man. Yeah, he's gonna be better than Luca.
yeah,
Yeah, because Luca's too
exactly.
injury prone. That's why we didn't. Well,
That's
actually, I
what it
should have
is. Yeah,
talked too
yeah.
much since Luca just missed the whole playoffs.
But then, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
AD's missed like 40 seasons, so you know,
yeah, 40 games per season. I
yeah,
think.
exactly.
Yeah, who knows? People are talking about the Wizards. I don't see it, but maybe that's you know my 45 years of being a pseudo fan or my hometown team. I don't see it, man. But what I do see is that if they draft one of these guys, maybe they can end up being a star and don't F it up. I would say
Yeah,
Wizards, don't F it up around them. I don't care about these other players of the teams, the Trae Youngs, the ADs. I don't care about these veterans. I don't even care about the young guys they have. Pick the best player, and it does seem like AJ Dybantsa would fit in well. He also
I think
does
so.
seem like he's probably the best player. So that could be a nice marriage of the two. But these guys have obviously done a lot more work than us. If they think Darryn Peterson's the man, they gave him a promise something. That's why he's not working out anywhere else.
Yeah,
There's obviously a lot of star potential there. He's outplayed AJ in the when he does play.
yeah,
Maybe There's a lot of big deep breaths with it, Darryn
Yeah.
Peterson. But hopefully, if they draft him, it means that they did their research and
Yeah.
they're happy with him, and he shows some kind of leadership skills that we haven't seen at all. I think one last thing on Dybantsa, he's been showing up like on the videos, like interviewing people and stuff, and
Oh, cool.
talking trash about people. Have you seen any of this? Like he was at
No, I
like an
actually haven't.
NBA game.
I need to watch that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of personality. I don't know. It could be a nice sort of change of pace. Get a superstar with some personality. And anyway, whoever the Wizards draft, man, I hope it works out for them.
Yeah.
And I don't expect it all to happen this year, Wizards, and that's not necessarily what we're looking for. We're looking for some sustained success.
Exactly. You want to
Would be
take your time
nice.
with this, like just get him his minutes and get him used to the NBA game, and then hopefully the magic happens and you have a real star on your hands.
And maybe he's a star from the beginning. Maybe they get Dybantsa. He's a star from the beginning.
Yeah.
Trae Young recognizes this, actually passes, and they somehow cover up his defensive, not Dybantsa's. I'm talking about Trae Young's defensive liabilities. And maybe,
yeah.
The Wizards are in the playoff. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be the best we could hope for this
Yeah.
year. But I'm hoping for great things for many years to come. Mark, has been a lot of fun. I just want to do one thing, Mark, and this is a surprise. Have you seen The Mandalorian?
Yes, I have.
All right. Well, here we are. We're going to have our first Droppin Dimes movie corner, okay? About The Mandalorian as we get into the summer blockbusters. There's less NBA to talk about, but there's lots of summer blockbusters. So, Mark, I got my Boba Fett water bottle here.
Nice.
I'm a big Star Wars geek, and I have a lot of thoughts about let's hear yours first.
Yeah. I came in with pretty low expectations because I was like, I'm not sure, because Star Wars has just been struggling the last few years, except for The Mandalorian and Andor.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus.
Andor was so great. Man.
Yeah, exactly. So I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know, this could be.
They can't make a movie of that though, because the movie was already made.
Exactly, because they made it was called the actual Star Wars films. Yeah, but I thought it was actually pretty fun. I really liked the puppet work. I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the CGI, I felt like they could have maybe cooked it a little bit more, especially the opening, like the AT-ATs thing. It looked a little video gamey to me, but
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did like the CGI giant snake worm thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Man, that was freaky. I gotta say, just the main headline for me is the monsters. And the monsters and the bad guys. They just had some incredible monsters, whole like fighting in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It was a little CGI-ish, but they were creative, at least.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very creative monsters. They have this main bad guy who has like a hat that doubles as a shield and like this scary ass dog.
I know.
I love this and he was kind of badass. He was kind of one of the only guys who the Mandalorian wasn't just taken out with one or two swipes.
Right, exactly. That was like a real fight.
So really, really great bad guys. I would say overall, my overall impression is it's a kids movie. It's meant for kids.
For sure.
It's meant for dads to take their kids. I took my two little ones, and it was just like a magical moment for me as like a big Star Wars geek, being able to take them to like a real like good. My kids are their first real good Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
and the snake is pretty scary. Watch out if your kids are too young; they might have some nightmares. I was a little scared.
I know it was really intense, man.
Man, but actually, I should give it away. But there's one moment that my kid said was even scarier. But the little the little Grogu. He's cute.
He is adorable, yeah. And especially with all the other little guys in the tiny ship, I thought that was just awesome.
Oh, yeah. And it was kind of funny. They seemed to not CGI him. They did puppet work with him, right?
Yeah, that was why it was cool. Yeah. I was it was sort of the old school Star Wars.
I was like,
at
first, I'm like, this is really bad CGI on this guy. But then I was like, no, wait, he's actually in the right lighting. And yeah, he's just a puppet. And the way he walks is so funny.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
You got like the Mandalorians racing off to battle, and he's like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it kind of
exactly.
works. It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
agree. It's
funny
great.
that the Mandalorian isn't even. It's not even him acting.
Yeah, it's just him doing voice work.
It's just him doing voice work, and somebody else is in the body. It's
Yeah,
kind of genius, actually.
I know. That's a pretty good gig. Just like have the guy do all the hard stunts, and you're like, no, everyone thinks I'm the actual guy.
Right.
It's a pretty
It's
good
kind of
deal.
interesting because I'm at first before I knew this, I was like, oh yeah, I can really tell. Like, he's such a good actor, even below the suit. Pedro Pascal, man, he's just really bringing it. Of course, it's not him.
Yeah, it's just some
I'm
dude.
a dummy. But that some dude, he is a good actor. He
He
is
is a good
bringing
actor.
it.
He's pretty great. So
There's a little, I think on the negative side, it's a little too much like Mandalorian is invincible stuff, but
yeah, it would have been nice
they
to have him
lead
have a
into this
little bit of a tougher
Beskar
time.
armor. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I guess
little
the
bit of
Beskar
like
armor is really great.
exactly, yeah, but it is a little bit. It's like, oh come on, like could at least somebody get a lick in that doesn't. Yeah, so that's definitely something that they could adjust. But yeah, overall, I was very happy with it. I thought it was pretty cool. So it was a good way to
Yeah,
like
it's
start
fun.
off the summer.
Go
So
see it on the big screen, listeners. It's
absolutely.
where these type of movies are meant to be
And
seen.
then
Okay, well,
one
that was
last,
our first Droppin Dimes movie
it
corner.
was.
Yes,
Oh,
what's that,
actually, I
Mark?
did one thing. Did you get your Odyssey tickets yet for Christopher
Oh
Nolan's
no,
The
I gotta go
Odyssey?
see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
exciting.
got them.
When's that coming out, Mark?
It's mid-July. I want to say like, yeah, it's like July the 15th or something like that, 16th, something. I think it's right in the middle there. Yeah, I got tickets for it with my daughter. She actually even picked up like a version of the book, to like the original stories to start reading. I was like, oh man, that's
Oh
cool.
wow,
Yeah, I was pretty excited about that she got into that.
how
So
is she liking that?
yeah, I think she is. I mean, she's like, yeah, this is a little bit hard to read. And I was like, yeah, it's not quite for
Yeah, it seems like
13-year
a
olds.
tough read.
So I was like, we can find
I don't
like
think
a
it'd be for
abridged.
47-year-olds either.
Yeah. I
Maybe
remember reading in college and it took
maybe
a long time.
1947.
But it was pretty cool that she was picking that up. I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, we could talk about that later in the summer when that finally comes out. I think that's going to be huge.
All right, yeah, sounds good, Mark. And appreciate you all, listeners, for hanging in here. Like, subscribe, 5 stars. Cheers.
Absolutely. Take care, viewers.
We'll be seeing you guys after the draft to break down what happened, all the moves
Absolutely.
that were made, all the trades, all the whatever stupid things Sacramento did. And sorry, Mike. Sorry. Uh, cheers, everybody.